Any questions before I mute you?
Kind of a blanket, put over us or rolled?
No, it's a blanket that we're going to stand on. So what we're working on today is strength for balance. So it's mostly balance, but as we go through the series, it'll be strength building along with the balance. And today we're working on the foot. And so you'll need a chair, you'll need a blanket, and someone just asked me what kind of blanket and how we're going to use the blanket as you're going to stand on it. So it's a little bit uneven surface. That's why we're using it. So it doesn't need to be rolled up. It just, if you don't have a blanket, you can use a pillow. If you want to really up the ante, you can use a ball, but I doubt if you want to do that. Then also a strap, a place by the wall, and a chair that you can use for sun salutation. And also we're going to be putting our leg up on it. So for both of those reasons, you're going to take this chair and I'm going to take that chair. Okay. So it took me a long time to figure this out and find it, so I've got to remember to do it. I'm going to do the share screen and show you what I posted. I think that was it. I hope that was it. Okay, so I just wanted to go through quickly what I posted on the internet for, you can come down here, Valley, if you like. So the nervous system brings in information, we've talked about this, from our eyes, from the inner ear, and proprioception, which is our kinesthetic information. And it has, our brain has to then integrate it all. So they actually add on a fourth thing, and that is the brain integration. And then we talked about the foot. We'll go through that again today. And I guess the rest of it I wanted was down here at the bottom. Slide, slide, slide. So when we age, not that any of us are aging, happy birthday, Jane and Jill, but as we age, our aging trajectory is really modified by our strength, our bone mass. We need to reduce our risk of falls and fractures, mobility and flexibility, our fascia resilience, which means the slide and glide of our fascia, our neuromuscular integration, and the nervous system modulation. So both of those are involved in bringing all that information into our brain and being able to do something with it. And of course, the brain health. And then balance is input from the eyes, from the small hairs and crystals in our ear, and the muscular input proprioception. And in yoga, we are able to do all of this. It challenges our balance reflexes, poses which pull on our bones, which increases our bone mass. Building strength is only one dimension. We need to also have our ability to move, to slide and glide. That's the fascia. So there's a lot, stop the share. There's a lot involved in balance. It's not just standing in tree pose. Standing in tree pose, we associate with, okay, this is our balance practice, but it's not just that, because how many times in your daily life do you stand in one position with the leg out? Not very often. We need to be able to build our balance where we're moving and where we're moving our head and where we're actually in action. And if we fall, we have to have the strength to be able to catch ourselves and the neuromuscular integration to be able to figure that you're falling out. How many times have you done something and fallen? You don't know what happened. It's like, how did that happen? It really requires integration and without having to think about it. So that's what we're working on in the next couple of weeks. Today, we're starting with the foot. So go ahead and start. You can do either the chair if you like, or you can lie down in constructive rest on your back, knees bent, feet to the floor. Whichever one you choose, make sure your feet are to the floor. And we'll start off with grounding. Our first fundamental, our relationship to the earth. If that's not stable, if that's not consistent, it's hard to think about anything else, much less balance. So feel yourself settling into your bones and letting your bones settle into the earth. If you're seated, it will be your sits bones reaching down as you reach tall. If you're lying down, it will be the back of your body. So the back of your head, the back of your chest wall, the back of your pelvis, and your feet on the floor. And once you allow yourself to settle, then invite open spaciousness into the roof of your mouth. Relax your jaw. The tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And then invite that broadness all the way back to the base of your skull from the front of your upper teeth. More space between your ears, broader across your cheekbones, spaciousness across your collarbones, broadness in your pelvis. The breath is involved in both of these other two. They all work together synergistically. With each exhale, allow your body to melt a little bit more into the ground. With each inhale, allow your chest wall and belly to open up. With each exhale, chest and belly fall. With each exhale, at the end of the exhale, pausing just a titch longer is very, very quieting and soothing to your nervous system. And that affects a whole cascade of chemical responses, allowing your body to rest and digest, restore, rejuvenate. These three fundamentals are the basis for every pose in our yoga practice. Just like in every standing pose, our feet, we begin from our feet. So just bring your mind's eye, your attention down to your feet. Maybe picking all the toes up off the ground, spreading them wide, and then putting them down onto the ground. And on Monday, we talked about the three corners of the feet. Often we talk about the four corners, but in this class, we'll talk about the three areas that make a triangle. So it's the little toe side, the base of the little toe, the base of the big toe, and then from those two, you draw a line down to the center of your heel. The triangle shape is the strongest shape in nature. And this shape involves both of your arches, all three of your arches actually. So now let's talk about the three arches. The space between the big toe and the little toe along the ball of the foot, that's your transverse arch because it goes from one side to the other. Your lateral arch is from the little toe down to that point in the heel. And your medial arch, or the one that we think of as being the main arch, is the base of the big toe down to the heel. So just think about those three areas in your foot. And then as you let your knees fall off to the side and you roll onto your lateral arch, little toe side, big toe side comes up off of the ground, that means that your feet have now gone into the supinate position. Then as you roll back onto your feet and go knock-kneed, and raise the little toes up. You might have to heel toe your feet out a little bit to really be able to exaggerate it. Little toe is off of the ground, big toe side is on the ground. That's pronate. Notice that if you pronate, your knees get knocked. They touch each other. That means there's internal rotation of your thigh. Notice if you supinate, that means over onto your little toe side, that your knees come apart. And that means that their legs, your thighs, are externally rotated. And when we talk about that perfect balance, each one of us is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to start from supinate, where you're on the little toe side, then roll your feet back until your big toe can touch, and then ground your big toe and don't go to the knock-knee position. Now, notice that when you ground the little toe mound and the big toe mound, then you pull back to that point on your heel, that energizes your arches and they all slightly rise up. This is the position we're going to really concentrate on today. So wherever you are, you can raise your heels up onto your toes, flexing your toes, and then raising up onto your heels and flare your toes. Back to your toes, flexing your toes, and then up onto your heels and flaring your toes. So those of you who are on the ground, come on up to your chair. Without falling off your chair, Trisha. So on Monday, what we did, you're gonna cross your legs and make your feet available. We put our fingers in between each of our toes. If you'd like to repeat that, feel free to. I didn't like it, it hurt. Did it hurt anyone else? Yeah, I didn't like that. But if you want to do that, I just want to review it. You put each finger, just the tips of the fingers between each toe, and then you stretch that out. Instead, we're going to do a gentle foot massage. So just rub your feet. We're not going to go and take the 10, 15 minutes it takes for us to do the whole massage, but we just want to energize and bring our attention down to our foot. Then come down to your toes and take the toes so that you're flexing the toes. That means the toes are going towards your shin. And then curl your toes so that means your toes are going away from your shin down towards your heel. So flexion and curl. One more time, flexion and curl. And then holding on to the ball and the feet and the toes, rotate your ankle all the way around. And do it slowly, because I want to see, or you want to see, is there any place where it kind of is sticky and resists? Now go the other way. And you might find that there's a place that sort of goes, and then take your foot down and rub it on your mat or the rug, whatever you have on the floor. The more, you put it on the blanket, Valley, because you'll get a little bit more texture. Go back and forth, up and down, circles, and then close your eyes. And just notice what you notice. One side, the side that you worked on, does it feel different from the other side? Spread your toes, lift them up, and then put the little toe down. Then roll each toe down until you get to the big toe. Draw a line back to the heel and just notice, does one feel different than the other? Then take your arms behind you, lean forward, bring your arms forward and come up into chair pose. Press down as you come all the way up, hands down, eyes closed still. Heel toe your feet together and see if you have a little bit more of a swaying. When the feet are together, we don't have as wide of a base. So that's your proprioception. I have a little bit of swaying going on. I'm assuming that you guys do also. You can feel all the muscles in your toes and your feet working. And then open your eyes and sit back down slowly. When you get halfway down, pause. Oh gosh, I didn't say that fast enough, did I? So when you get halfway down, you're pausing. Your hands can be back there to make sure you've got the right place. And slowly coming down, 3, 2, 1, contact. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down to your toes. Inhale, come up your shins, roll your shoulders open, looking forward, cow. Exhale, fold. Press down to come all the way up, grabbing onto your right wrist and over to the left. Inhale, coming up, grabbing onto the left wrist and over to the right. Inhale, coming up, arms down. Now with a little bit of distraction, now close your eyes. And what do you feel? Does one foot still feel different from the other? How long does it last in your body? So then open your eyes and cross the other leg over. So if you want to put your little pinky in and then separate each out of your toes, and you want to kind of give your toes a little stretch, feel free to do that. You can flex and point and flex and curl this way, or you can just gently rub your feet, giving yourself a little foot massage, a quick foot, just bringing our attention to it, and then grabbing onto the ball of your foot, fingers over your toes, and flexion, reaching the toes back towards your shin, and curling them. I guess that's more flexion, isn't it? Curling them down towards the heels, and then opening them up towards the shin, and back one more time. And then grabbing and making nice slow circles and seeing if there's any place that kind of doesn't want to let you go smoothly. It's losing our flexibility in our feet that make us walk like a 90-year-old. So one of the ways we can stay active and we can stay young is to keep our feet young. Go the other direction. And then putting your feet down and rubbing it on a blanket, on your mat, on your carpet, whatever, the more texture, the better. You can do back and forth, forward and back, side to side, and circles. And then being quiet, finding stillness, reaching down with the sits bones tall through the spine. Now, isn't that interesting? Does your other foot feel the same as the one that you did before, or is it now even more alive than the one you did before? And then bring your arms behind you, lean forward as we come up into chair. So in chair, shins forward, sits bones back, arms out in front of you. Press down to come up, arms down. Closing your eyes. Your feet are probably pretty wide apart. Now, heel toe them together. Gently roll out into the little toe side, and then each toe down until you get to the big toe, grounding both of them back to the heel, energizing the arches. Now draw midline. So draw your ankles together, shins together, thighs together, hip headlights together. And the more you add movement on, you feel a little bit more movement. Now, if you want more, try turning your head to the right, looking over your right shoulder, but your eyes are closed. And then turn your head back to center and look over your left shoulder with the eyes closed. Any point you feel like you're losing your balance, you can open your eyes and then come back to center. Open your eyes. Inhale up, chair pose. And all the way down, holding 3, 2, 1, contact. So the things that we can do with adding balance on any time that you're out in the community, you don't have to do it just during yoga class, although we know that we don't do it any other time, right? Is decrease the base of support, okay? Bring awareness and do some rubbing with your feet so that you really have that base down, little toe to big toe, back to the heel. And then add on movement, add on instability, okay? So we're gonna just go ahead and do a sun salutation on the chair, then we'll go ahead and stand at the wall. So let's first do cat-cow, because we didn't get to do cat-cow. So go forward in cow, shoulders go back, you roll forward on your sits bones. In cat, you roll way back onto your sacrum, shoulders come forward, you can put your hands on your knees. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat. You can do this in the car when you're on long car rides. You can do it in the airplane. You can do it at the dinner table. And then come to stillness, neutral, inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold, bring the arms behind you as you swing them forward, come up into chair. Yeah, come off the blanket. Press down to come all the way up and back to mountain. So another place, come onto the chair with your hands on the chair, step back so that your feet are directly underneath your hips. You can also do cat-cow here. So those of us who have wrist problems, if you have a chair close by, you can always do it here, or if you have knee problems. So cat, push the chair away from you, curl your back, look back underneath into your belly button. Cow, let the belly drop down, look forward, roll the shoulders back. Exhale into cat, inhale into cow. One more time. We've already warmed up our spine on the chair. And then coming to neutral tabletop, I just want to review what we did strength building last week. Not everyone was here. So the chest is a certain distance away from your chair, depending on what your habit is and the strength of your back muscles. Can you notice in cow, come into cow very gently. Notice, bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. Do you feel how they're quite close together? Now push the floor away from you going into cat. Can you feel how your shoulder blades have separated out to the side? Now come to tabletop and keeping your spine neutral, take your chest further away from the I can't say mat, from the chair, so that the shoulder blades are like halfway between cat and cow. They're further out to the side and you've engaged the muscles in your upper back. These are really important muscles, not only for our posture, but strength for also when we fall and have to catch ourselves. And then bend the knees and come all the way up into absolute. And back to mountain. So you want to position your chair so that it's on the mat and isn't going to slide, and so that you can be at the front of your chair. Sun salutation on a chair. Or put it on your mat, or just put it on the rug so that it's got a little bit of stability. Or I can give you another mat too. Okay. Inhale, absolute. Exhale, bend the knees, tip the pelvis, forward fold. Hand comes onto the bottom of the chair, forehead comes down to the seat. Inhale to lengthen, come up to tabletop. Pausing here, take your chest a little bit further away from the chair so that you're engaging those muscles, isometric. Another breath here. And then come down and step back to down dog. In down dog, you bend your knees, reach your pelvis back until your ears come down between your arms. Another breath here. Really reach those sits bones back. With the next exhale, come forward into plank. In plank, see if you can find that straight line. Then reach your heels down to the ground. Oh, was anyone else sore from Mondays going up on our toes at the wall? I was. And now do your 8 push-ups. I guess we should make that 10, shouldn't we? So keep your bum stable. I see some of you doing push-ups like this, okay? So this is not a push-up. This is going halfway into down dog. Keep your plank stable, just going up and down with your arms. Much better. And then the next time you come down, come up into up dog, opening up your chest, letting your belly fall down. And then go back to down dog. From down dog, bring your right foot forward under the chair, reach the left leg back and sink down into projected lunge. That's what this is. Reach that back heel down. Notice that your leg wants to go out to the side. Ground the little toe, ground the big toe, reach the point of the heel towards the earth. Open up your chest, open up your gaze, knit your ribs. Now, if you want to add on more, you can take your hands off of the chair and you can bring your arms up. That becomes a balance pose. You can keep one hand on the chair and just take up the arm, which leg is back. So it becomes quite the balance. And then bring your hands back down, go back to down dog. So the chair makes projected lunge accessible to everyone, whereas when we're on the mat, it's not. This time, take the left leg forward, step the right foot back, let the pelvis come down, find a nice long straight line. Find your 3 points on your foot. So roll onto the little toe side, ground onto the big toe, back to the heel. Rotate that back leg, hip forward. You can stay here, or if you like, raise the right arm up. If you like, you can take both hands to heart. You can bring both hands on the thigh, or you can take both arms up. So there's a lot of options. I like the chair personally. One more breath here, and then back to down dog. End of the exhale, come forward into plank. Opportunities to be in plank. It's better than a sit-up. So why don't we do another 5 little push-ups. Five and go into up dog. Opening up the front fascia line. Go back to down dog, opening up the back fascia line. End of the exhale, bend the knees, look up to the hands, walk the feet forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Forehead comes all the way down to the chair. Try to straighten the knees as you take the tailbone up the wall behind you. Back fascia line. Press down as you come all the way up and back to mountain. You can put the chair just a little bit aside and grab your block. So with your block, you're going to put its long edge, holding onto the short edge right in front of you. Find a place by the wall. Sorry, I should have told you all to find your wall space. So depending on how much luggage, carry-on luggage you have back here, your heels might not make it to the ground, to the wall. So it's okay if they're out a couple of inches, mine are. And then see if you can get both bums, both shoulders, and the back of your head onto the wall. Bring both feet together and close your eyes. Pretty stable. You have the wall providing you stability. You've got both feet on the floor. And then you can open your eyes, taking your hands onto the short edge of the block so it's wide between you. Press in on the block. So pressing in on the block, that's turning on the muscles in the arm line and the back. Then take your arm up overhead, still pressing in on the block, seeing if you can bring the hands, the block to the wall or your thumbs to the wall. Knit your ribs. You're too tall for that, aren't you? You have to find a different wall. That's okay. I'll just shorten it. So this is isotonic. Press against the block, press the block up towards the ceiling, and really we're building strength. And then coming down. Put the block aside. So that's what we want to be doing with our upper back when we go to the next one. So coming back onto the wall, both butt cheeks, heels, shoulders, back of the head on the wall. Take your hands and press on the wall. Notice what turns on. And then draw your heels together, ankles together, shins together, thighs together, sits bones together. Deep front fascia line. Quick review. And then open your eyes, release your arms. Take your right knee out to the side without losing both shoulders and both butt cheeks on the wall. You can close your eyes if you like, or you can keep them open and then take your arms up as if you were still pressing on the block. Arms go straight up, still pressing on the block. Maybe the thumbs can touch the wall. It all depends on your shoulder mobility. Gently knit your ribs. So lower ribs come down, hip headlights come up. If you like, raise your toes up off the ground. Really reach down with the foot as you're tall through the fingertips. And then arms down, foot down. Both heels, both bums, both shoulders against the wall. Weight onto the left side. Make sure that the other side, make sure that the standing leg doesn't go out, that the hip doesn't go out. Reach down with the foot, bring the hip in. These are the external rotators that are weak. Then take your knee out to the side. Arms pressing on that block, going up. Press the heel into the ankle. Press the arms up to the ceiling. Press the standing leg into the floor. And close your eyes. If you like, take your toes up off the ground. Now, if you want to add challenge, come up off the back of the wall. And see what happens. I had to open my eyes right away. How about you? Arms down, foot down. Find your blanket. And put the blanket in kind of a hot mess on the ground. So you don't want it all neatly folded. You want it sort of different. In a hot mess, like the dog's gone burrowed in it. And step away from the wall, but have it close enough that you could put your hand on it if you start to lose balance, okay? Feet together. That's shortening our balance space. Just notice when the feet together, how do you feel? A little bit of swaying. Now turn your head looking over your shoulder and go the other direction. And go back and forth, not really fast, but not really slow. And notice what happens to your balance. So now we're on an uneven surface with both eyes open and both feet on the ground. Now you can try closing your eyes, both feet on the ground, but still on an uneven surface. Okay, now you felt that, come back, open your eyes. We're going to go into tree pose. Bring your weight onto your left side. Right knee goes out. Pretend like there's still a wall behind you so that those shoulders and hips are still on the wall. And now take your arms up, or you can keep them at heart. You can choose. If you want to work more on balance, arms are fine at heart. And close your eyes. If you want to add on, turn your head from right to left. And left to right. How much proprioception is your brain working on trying to keep you from falling? Okay, open your eyes, arms down, foot down. Did everyone feel a difference when you moved your head? So this is much more functional. This is how we live in the world. We move, we don't just stand straight in tree pose. So the other side. Go to the other side, take the knee out, reach down with the standing foot, find the little toe, big toe, and the heel. Then press down with the foot to be tall. Choose what you want to do with your arms. If you want to take them up, if you want to keep them at heart, if you want to keep fingers on the wall, close your eyes. Move head from right to left. Woo! I better keep my eyes open. On this side. So this tells us where we're weak and where we need to work, right? This is almost like an assessment. And then coming back to neutral, open your eyes and foot down. So you can move the blanket out of the way. So I've now given you a demonstration of how adding unevenness ground, like walking across the lawn, or suddenly stepping on something like a shoe in the middle of the bedroom in the middle of the night, if you have to integrate that into your life. So another really good balance exercise is adding the same thing. What we're going to do, start back so you have a ways to walk. And you're going to put one heel in front of the front toes, and like you're walking on a tightrope, walk forward. You can have your arms out. And you want heel to toe, as little space as possible. Now add on, you can turn around, I'm gonna have to turn around and go the other direction. Add on turning your head. So turn your head from right to left. Anyone finding that too easy? If you're finding it too easy, go ahead and close your eyes. Toe to heel, turning your head right to left. Arms out or arms on the hips. And come back to your mat. Did anyone find that too easy? If you found that too easy, raise your hand. Because then we'll have you do it on an uneven surface. Okay, so that's another really, really great way to practice what we have to have at home. So now find your chair again. And you want the chair positioned far enough away from the wall that you can get the leg up on it straight. So I'll do it at an angle. Pretend like I had a wall back here. You want to get your leg up on it so that it's straight. And you can lean against the wall or you cannot lean against the wall. So the wall is right there for balance. If you need to start off at the wall to get that alignment, do that. I'm not, because the wall, you can't see where my leg is when I do that. Now find your standing leg, rotate it out to the little toe, rotate it over to the big toe, and don't let it collapse in. Reach down to the back of the heel, flex the leg up on the chair. So the foot is flexed. Now this is a pose that's called in big toe to hand pose, where you take your fingers around your big toe and you raise it up. But we're going to go in progressions. So this is a great place to work. You can also, if you find that that's too easy, you can grab your block and put the block so that it's a little bit higher. So there's lots of options. You can also go onto the back of the chair. That's going to tear my hamstrings right off of my sits bone, so I'm not going to do that. And then you can lean forward ever so gently. Do you feel the stretch, back fascia line? This is standing pyramid pose, basically. And then come back up and take the leg down. Going to the other side. Take the leg up. Flex the foot. Standing leg, find your 3 points of your leg. Ooh. I must be tighter on this side because I feel the difference. Anyone else feel a difference? And then if you want more of a stretch, you just gently tip your pelvis forward, pulling the thighs back. And then coming up and removing the leg. So going on, to add on, find your strap. Have the strap ready. So I'm going to eventually want to put it around my toes, right? But we're going to add on to this. So find your standing pose. Now there's choices. Against the wall, if you have balance, is a real issue for you. But away from the wall, 3 or 4 inches, if you want to challenge yourself more. So it all depends where you're working on the spectrum. So bring your weight over to your left leg, raise your right knee, flex the foot, crane pose. Put the strap around the leg and take it out onto the chair. Now, once you find that stability and you find your balance, wrap the straps around. Arms are straight, knee is straight. And then press down with the left leg standing up. Pull with your arm bones back, raise the leg up. Anyone find that you have a little bit of proprioception? If this is too easy for you, close your eyes. If that's too easy for you, move your head from side to side. I'm glad I have the wall here. And coming back down, come back into crane and put the leg down. over to the other side. So anytime we do a balanced pose, you always have the choice of using the wall or a chair to help or not. That's the first thing. Second is to close your eyes or add on an uneven surface or start to move your head. Okay, so have the strap ready so it can make a nice loop down to your foot. Reach down with the feet tall through the spine. Weight onto the right side. Left knee comes up into crane. Let that strap come down onto your foot. Straighten the leg out onto the chair. Reach down with the standing leg tall through the spine. Wrap the straps around your hands. Roll your arm bones into the back of the socket as you raise the leg up. Standing here, you might notice this is a lot of work on the standing leg. The other leg is kind of just getting a nice little stretch, but the standing leg is isometric strength building. Arm bones reach into the back of the socket. Whew. Okay, I lost my balance. So you can bend the knee, come back to crane, remove the strap, and bring the foot down. Okay, enough of that for a while. Let's do sumo. You can move the chair aside. Stepping wide. So the toes slightly point out. Find your foot. So roll out onto the little toe sides. Spread the toes, put one down at a time until you get to the big toe. Ground them onto the big toe without letting your feet come to the center. Draw a line back to your heels. So your arches are energized. Same way of, I've used the cue before of pulling your toes back towards your heel. It's the same cue. Hands at hips. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, triple flexion. Don't let your knees cave in. Remember, they cave out. We want to keep those knees working, going out. That's using the abductors. Move through cement. So you're really using your own body's weight, your own mind against itself, action and resistance, keeping your legs straight while you bend them, keeping them bent while you try to straighten them. Next time you come down, pausing here. Come down a little further. Just holding here, pull your heels back, hamstrings turn on, isometric. Raise the right heel, isometric, lowering down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact, slowly pulling the heels together, come back up, adduction. Moving through cement, action and resistance, coming down. Pausing here, raise the pelvic floor just halfway. Raise the left heel, lowering down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact, come down a little lower. Holding, pull your heels back, turn on the hamstrings. Isometric strength building, pushing down to come up. Whew. Sumo, so easy and yet so hard, right? Heel toe, coming to your wall again. Step your feet just maybe 6 inches forward. Bring your both butt cheeks, both shoulders are on the wall. Back of the head is on the wall. Bend the knees and slide down the wall. Until you get to the place where you say, okay, I'm working as hard as I want to work. Keep the back of the head. I'm going to have to wiggle my toes forward so that my knees end up over my ankles and not over my toes. Maybe come down a little lower. And then deep front fascia line. Try to bring your lower back onto the wall along with your shoulders so that you have good, strong support. And then draw the ankles together, shins together, thighs together, hip headlights together, press your hands against the wall. Everyone feel it on their quads, building strength and slowly coming back up. Bringing your feet back in. Stepping wide. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. So why do I always talk about making sure that the toes are in? Look back and make sure that you're at least a 30 to 45 degree angle. You should not be equal with the back mat. The toes need to be turned in. So you get onto your toes and rotate your heel back a little further. Then rotate your shoulders so that they're equal with the long edge of your mat. So what does that do? That wants to pull the knee in because it's all connected, right? So roll that front leg thigh out. Now the back foot, roll out onto the little toe side and then ground the big toe and draw a line back to your heel. The front leg, roll out into the little toe side, ground the big toe, draw a point back. Remember on Monday, we put a block between us and the wall? Imagine that block is still there and you're pressing out on that block. Slowly exhale to bend, very slowly. Holding here. I see someone's chest looking straight towards their foot rather than to the side where their pelvis is or to the long edge of their mat. And then slowly straightening back up. So this is concentric, eccentric, and isometric, slowly bending, holding for 2 breaths, and then pulling the heel to come back up and straighten. 3rd time, slowly pulling the heel back towards the back to bend, hands to heart. A little bit of pressure on the hands to turn on those wonderful muscles in our back. Inhale up and out, looking out over your right fingertips. How's the roof of the mouth with so much work? Relax the jaw. Hands to hips, tilting over, bringing right ear to right thigh, right forearm onto the lower thigh. Look over your left shoulder. Opening up your chest. The more you press down on your elbow, the more you can open up your chest. Let that left hip roll forward as the left hip rolls back. Be kind to your SI joint. Arm comes up. Reaching up, flex the wrist as if you were holding a block and reaching it towards the ceiling. Let the hand, your right hand, come down onto your shin. Pull your thigh into your sits bones. You're in triangle pose. Balance pose, in case you hadn't noticed. If this is not enough for you, you can close your eyes. Or you can rotate your head to look up over your fingers and then rotate your head to look down at your toes. It's adding that movement of rotating the head that makes it even more challenging. Bend the knee and we'll rest for a breath. With the inhale, reach with the left hand up to bring you back into warrior 2. Flip the front hand and we're in reverse warrior, relaxing that back arm. Pull with the heel, push and straighten. Pull with the heel to bend and pause. Push to straighten, pause. Pull and bend, pause. Much more mindful, push and straighten. Last time, pull and bend, pause. Push to straighten, arms down, feet forward, hands to hips. 2 sumos through cement. When you come down on the last one, if you want to add challenge, raise both heels. And just have them enough that you would get like a credit card under them. Notice the proprioception. If you need, close your eyes, not me. And then straighten with your heels up. And straighten and bend with the heels down. At any point, you can always bring your heels down, but try to keep them up just so that they hover over the floor, building more strength, more proprioception, straightening up, heels down. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. If you need to get up onto your right toes and let that heel go out a little further, that's good. Your pelvis is now at your 2 o'clock, your shoulders can be at 3. So let your hip roll forward as your shoulder rolls back. Twist is up between the shoulder blades. This is not only a balance pose, but also a twist pose. So find your feet. Roll onto the outside surface of both little toes. Ground both big toes. Can you do 2 at a time? Draw back into the center of your heel. Pull with your left heel to slowly bend. Holding here. Press out into that back leg. That back leg is really active. Push with the front leg to straighten. Pull slowly to bend. Make sure you're pushing out with that back leg, but grounding that big toe. Push to straighten. Concentric, eccentric, isometric. Pull with the front leg. Pausing here, hands to heart. A little bit of pressure on your hands turns on those back muscles. Inhale, up and out. If you like, you can close your eyes. See what happens to your balance when you close your eyes. If you like, you can turn your head to look over your right hand, back over to look over your left hand, and go back and forth, adding head movement as well as our eyes, so that it's all proprioception. Wherever you are, hands to hips, tilting over slowly, bringing the left ear towards the left thigh. And let's get those ears involved. So make sure that your left ear is reaching down towards your left knee. Right ear is towards the ceiling. Close your eyes if you like, or you can keep them open. Look down at your left toes. Then bring your gaze to look up towards your ceiling over your left shoulder, your right shoulder. Reach out into that back leg. Back to look over your toes. Arm floats up. Extended side angle. The more you press down with the elbow, the more you're reaching into that back muscle on this side that we're trying to straighten, and it opens up your chest. Let your left hand slide down onto the shin, pull the left thigh into the sits bones, and you are in triangle pose. Really pulling that left thigh into the sits bones. Right hip headlight rolls down as the right shoulder rolls up. If you want more, close your eyes and or turn your head to look down to your toes, and or turn your head to look up over your fingers. So any pose you can make into a balance pose. And then bend the knee and rest for a breath. With the next inhale, reach with the right fingers up and over, coming into warrior 2. Flipping the left hand, going into reverse warrior, pushing to straighten. Hold, pull to bend. Hold, reach out into that back leg. Make sure you're externally rotating. Those little toes are grounded. Push to straighten. Pull to bend. Reach with those fingers up to the ceiling and slightly over. It's a lateral bend too. Straightening. And last time, bending. And straightening. Arms down, feet forward. You have your chair close by. Put your hands onto the chair. Take your legs out so they're out to the side. Heels bump out. So we're in tabletop. Press the chair seat away from you. Arm bones come to the front of the socket. Shoulder blades go on to the side, and just holding here. If you want more, you can hold here and take this pressure off of the hands on the seat and bring your hands to heart. Go back more onto the heels, grounding the toes. Do you feel the hamstrings? Come forward more onto the toes. Do you feel the quads? Find the place right in between, halfway between quads and hamstrings. Isometric strength building on the back. Reach the tailbone back, reach the crown of the head forward. Wherever you are, we all put our hands onto the chair and we come up. And heel, toe, coming to the top of your mat or at the wall for high lunge. Oh no, it's 25 after. You get to not do high lunge. I guess we did up dog, so that was our front fascia line. I didn't realize that when we move so slow, time goes quickly. Okay, come to the top of the mat. Inhale up, come into chair. If you like, raise your heels. There we go. Heels down, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, feet step back, down dog. In down dog, push the floor away from you. Knees are bent. Reach your heels towards the ground, and if you like, go ahead and pedal through your heels, bending one knee, reaching the other heel towards the mat. And then going the other way. And finding your dog. And come down onto your knees into child's pose. Walking your hand over to the left side of your mat, right hand on top of left, crescent child's. And over to the other side, left hand on top of right, crescent child's on the other side. And releasing into forearm over forearm, forehead onto the back of the forearm, a more restorative child's. And then hands under your shoulders, pushing up and making your way onto your back. You don't have to do supine leg stretch because we did it standing today. But I would like to do a back bend. Even though we did a back bend with up dog, I'd like to do bridge. So come to constructive rest. Press down on your elbows close to your waist to raise you press down on the elbows in the back of your head to raise the chest up off of the mat. Come down, your shoulder blades are much closer together. Press down on the feet, roll the pelvis, the tailbone up between your legs towards the ceiling, raising your pelvis off of the mat, coming up until you're a nice long plank. Then pull your heels towards your sits bone, towards your head, knees over your toes, and raise the pelvis up a little bit more. Good morning, Soaz. Nice deep inhale, long exhale. Another deep inhale. Slowly coming down, vertebra by vertebra, trying to articulate the spine into a few more pieces instead of one solid chunk. And then once you come down, bring both knees into your chest, give yourself a rock and roll. Happy baby. Put your two fingers around your big toes and try to straighten your knees as you reach the heels towards the ceiling. Most of us won't be able to do it, but we try. That's getting our back fascia line, opening up. And then relax the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, supine cobblers.
holding on to both feet, onto the toes, and seeing how open you can get your pelvis. Arm bones roll into the back of the socket and relax away from the ears. And then release the hands, bring the knees together. One foot comes to the ground, the other foot comes to the ground. One leg straightens out, the other leg straightens out. Inhale, arms up overhead, heels reach away from the fingertips, reach away from the heels. Inhale here, exhale, knit your ribs to help raise the arms up to the ceiling as they come all the way through the arc, down beside you, rotating the thumbs up, palms out to the ceiling, relaxing the toes out to the side. Shavasana. You might choose a different pose for Shavasana, and that would be fine. If you want to put your legs up the wall, or bend your knees, or lay on your side, or put a blanket underneath your knees, find a way that it's comfortable for you. Find how you relate to the ground. And do your own body scan and notice where you're holding on to tension. Relaxing your jaw. And let your breath flow easily. Being mindful, allowing the exhale to have its full time to exhale. Bringing gentle movement back into your body. Bending your knees, bringing the feet to the floor. Sinking your awareness down into your feet. Noticing the little toe side, the arch rolling all the way over to the little toe side, then slowly rolling back over to the big toe side, drawing a point back down to your heels, energizing your arches. If you like, bringing your knees into your chest for a final rock and roll. Rolling over onto your side. Pushing up and making your way to seated. Hands to heart. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy.
all beings be safe and free from danger. May all beings be free of any form of suffering. May all beings live with peace. Namaste.
That was good.
That was great. That was a great workout.
You know, it's just the same old poses.
Not,
Yep.
no, not really.
Yeah, it's.
That was great.
But we get the same poses in. We didn't get in high lunge, but oh well. That's always the last one to meet, but we're working on balance, right? So as you do your day, you can add on balance challenges all day long. It doesn't have to be in yoga class, right?
Right.
Simple as walking to feed the goats, heel to toe, turning your head to look for the dog. As simple as walking through the grocery store, heel to toe, looking right to left. You can put it in so many places, okay? Have a great weekend, everyone. And on Monday, we'll continue, but we'll move up more and to the legs, but we'll continue with the feet challenges. And after class, we didn't have time, do, you know, your 10 getting up onto your toes, heel raises. And then if that's too easy, one leg at a time.
Right.
Oh, but I was sore in my calves for 2 days from that. So definitely, I guess I need it. And if I need it, my guess is you guys also need it.
Always.
That's my guess. Okay, have a good weekend.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thanks. Have a
Patricia,
great
does it
weekend.
make any difference if you do those heel raises without versus with shoes?
I think it depends on your own personal feet.
Okay,
You're using more support if you have the shoes on,
okay,
particularly if you have orthotics. That might be more necessary for you. I have orthotics. I've always had weak ankles and I'm trying to do it without my shoes. But if I'm out at the grocery store, I do it with my shoes.
okay.
You know, if I'm home and I don't have my shoes on, then do it without. But I think doing it with both is not a bad idea.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, bye.
See you Monday.
Bye.
See you Monday.
Bye.
You okay?